I was halfway through reheating last night's dinner when my phone buzzed. A notification. Instagram. The caption blinked across the screen like a punch to the chest. Don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband. And there she was. My wife, Emily, smiling in a selfie I hadn't seen her take, eyes lit in a way I hadn't seen directed at me in months. For a moment, I just stared, the microwave humming in the background, the plate inside spinning endlessly. Something inside me cracked, sharp and hollow, though my brain scrambled to explain it away. Maybe it was a joke. Maybe it was one of those quotes people post without thinking. Maybe. But the uneasy weight in my gut told me otherwise. Emily and I had been married for 5 years. We weren't perfect, but we'd built a rhythm. Shared coffee in the mornings, late-night talks that wandered from trivial things to dreams of children we hadn't yet had. She was warm, thoughtful, the kind of woman who noticed the smallest things. Like how I hated when my socks twisted in my shoes, or how I always forgot the dryer sheets. But lately, something had shifted. Her phone seemed glued to her hand. She stayed late at work more often. When I'd ask who she was texting, she'd say, "Just friends," and tuck the phone away like a secret. I told myself not to be paranoid, that mistrust corrodes love. Still, that caption burned in my mind. That night, when she came home, I studied her like I hadn't in years. She breezed in with a faint scent of perfume that wasn't the one I'd given her. Her smile was soft but tired, almost rehearsed. "Hey," she said, dropping her bag. "Sorry, late meeting." "Yeah," I murmured, my voice too even. I didn't mention the post. Not yet. Instead, I watched as she heated leftovers, her back to me. The hum of the microwave echoed again, just like earlier, but now it felt suffocating. When she finally sat across from me, fork in hand, I asked casually, "How's work been?" Her eyes flickered, so quick most people wouldn't catch it. But I did. "Busy. You know how it is." She shoveled food, avoiding my gaze. I nodded, though my chest tightened. The days that followed unraveled with quiet violence. Little things I couldn't unsee. Her phone lighting up at 2 a.m., her body tensing as she turned it face down. The way she lingered in front of the mirror, applying lipstick before running errands. Her laughter spilling through closed bathroom doors, muffled but not enough to hide. And yet, every time I wanted to confront her, my heart whispered, "What if you're wrong? What if you ruin everything by not trusting her?" So I swallowed it. I smiled when she smiled. I kissed her goodnight even as my stomach churned. It was a Wednesday when the thread finally snapped. I left work early, an unusual move for me. Something inside urged me home, though I couldn't name it. Maybe instinct. Maybe the quiet prayer that I was overthinking. The apartment was silent when I walked in. Her shoes were at the door. Her bag was on the counter. But she wasn't in the living room, or the kitchen. Then I heard it. Soft laughter, hushed whispers, coming from our bedroom. My blood iced. I moved down the hall, every step heavy, the walls closing in. The door was ajar, just enough. Through the gap, I saw her sitting on the bed, phone pressed to her ear, her face lit up with a glow I hadn't seen in months. She whispered, "I can't wait to see you again." He has no idea. My lungs forgot how to breathe. I backed away before she noticed. Sat in the dark living room, the hum of the fridge filling the silence. When she finally emerged, startled to see me home, she plastered on a smile. "Hey, you're early," she said too brightly. "Who were you talking to?" My voice came out calm, too calm. Her eyes widened. "Just Sarah. From work." I held her gaze. "Say her name again. Like you believe it." Her lips parted, then closed. Silence stretched, thick and unbearable. And in that silence I knew. We didn't fight. Not then. Instead, I asked questions, simple, pointed, and she answered in half-truths, her words unraveling like threads pulled from a sweater. At first, she insisted it was just someone she talked to, that nothing physical happened. But as I pressed, Her defenses crumbled. His name was Mark. A co-worker. It started with harmless texts, then drinks after work, then weekends she claimed were spent with friends. Her voice shook as she admitted it, tears running down her face. I didn't mean for it to happen. I just felt alive with him in ways I hadn't in so long. Alive. The word lodged in me like glass. What did that make me? Dead weight. The days that followed were a blur of numbness and fire. At work, I stared at my computer without seeing it. At night, I lay awake, every detail replaying like a cruel movie. The perfume. The laughter. The caption. Friends told me to leave. My mother's voice on the phone cracked when she said, "You deserve better." But it wasn't that simple. My love for her hadn't vanished. It clung stubbornly, twisting around my grief. And there was the part of me that hated myself, for not noticing, for not being enough, for still wanting her despite it all. One night, weeks later, I sat across from her at the kitchen table. The silence between us was vast, broken only by the tick of the clock. "I need to know," I said quietly, "if you ever really loved me. Or if I was just the wrong man holding the right place in your life." Her eyes filled, but she didn't look away. "I did love you. I still do. But I wanted more. And I don't even know what more is." Her honesty cut deeper than lies. In the end, I left. Not in a blaze of shouting or broken plates, but in quiet finality. A suitcase by the door. A note on the counter. As I closed the door behind me, I felt the weight of both loss and release. But the cruelest twist wasn't her betrayal. It was the realization that love, even when it's real, isn't always enough to keep two people tethered. I still see her post sometimes, floating through my feed when I forget to mute her. "Don't let your boyfriend stop you from finding your husband." The irony isn't lost on me. She was my wife, and yet somewhere along the way, she started searching for someone else. And I wonder, maybe the betrayal wasn't just hers. Maybe it was ours, in all the small ways we let distance grow, in the moments we stopped truly seeing each other. Still, when I think of her smile in that photo, the one she never gave me again, it feels like a wound that will never close.